Ladies and gentlemen, I join you today in what would be the endgame of any 100% player's playthrough of Hollow Knight Silksong, the Abyss, where I can swim in the Lake of the Void with no problems because I have completed everything there is to do in this game, and I have the Everblossom. And I am here today because for some reason I decided that pacifist fights is something I wanted to do again after that slog of beating Grandmother Silk with it. I have the pristine core, I have the Hornet statuette, and that's how you know this is a truly complete save file. That 100% completion is not enough on its own. And although I have the Witch Crest on now, I'm going to switch to the Architect Crest. I will take off this Fractured Mask in a bit. I have the Wisp-Fire Lantern to do almost all of my damage because I will not be attacking. I will use the Weave Light to get more silk. I have the Memory Crystal on just in case. And I will be using Plasmium File to inject myself and get myself in a state where I don't have to do anything but walk and jump as Hornet. And I will be beating Lost Lace without doing anything offensive. Hornet is saving her from the void with the power of pacifism and fiery butterflies. So, before you start this fight proper, it is very important that you don't get hit more than once, because if you do, and you have a max level save file, you will not have enough life blood hearts to get yourself in the overindulged state, the drug abuse state, the Breaking Bad state that we need for this kind of run. And I say we need, but if I want to be honest, this whole Plasmium overflow state wasn't necessary to make this video. The problem with that is it's not necessary, but if you don't have this state going, you can't heal without attacking, because you will never build up enough silk without attacking to get yourself able to bind. And that means you have to beat all of Lost Lace passively with, getting hit 5 times at max, and that is not easy. I can tell you, as the guy who spent like an hour and a half before recording all of this trying to do so, before realizing I am not good enough at this game to do that, sadly. But regardless, this is something that you will have to get locked in for if you want to do it yourself, and by that I mean you have to get prepared to spend a long time. In case you haven't looked at the length of this video, the remaining of this video is just this fight. There is no other content in this video other than me beating Lost Lace with butterflies, and sometimes Memory Crystal procs, but let's be real, that is absolutely not what's doing almost anything in this fight. I wanted to make this video beating Lost Lace with just butterflies, but I realized it would technically be a lie, because it's not just butterflies, it's butterflies and crystals. So I realistically, just by having the Memory Crystal on, I have cost myself a algorithm beating name. So thanks for that, Memory Crystal. You're even worse than I thought you were initially. But yeah, I am gonna be yapping a bit for the first phase of Lost Lace, because while it's a cool fight, this fight got me to appreciate it so much more by the second half once I spent around 7 minutes in the second half. Because, you know, if you're doing this fight, you're normally pretty geared up, and you'll get her killed much faster than that. But as things stand now, I want to point out that compared to Grandmother Silk, this fight is an absolute adrenaline-pumping masterpiece. I already knew I liked Lost Lace a lot when I beat her in my initial playthrough, but despite the amount of videos I've made on this game since then, like a month and a half ago, I've not really fought Lost Lace again, because there hasn't been much reason to. I've mostly been doing stuff in Acts 1 and 2. So, while I spent my previous video beating Grandmother Silks by doing absolutely nothing, kind of just messing around because it was pretty boring, you know, adding in some music and just giving it a chill, casual vibe, this fight with Lost Lace, despite it taking a very long time, is, like, it's fantastic. I'm kind of talking over the first phase, because I think the first phase is not anything crazy special. It's a lot of the similarities to the first and second Lace fight with the void attacks added in, and that's going to be the case for the whole fight, but the music, the visual changes, the new abilities of the second phase of this fight just make it a genuine marvel. And I know it may be shocking for you all to learn, but I do like Hollow Knight Silksong. I know, it's big news. And I just adore what this fight becomes once the second phase starts. So I'm going to continue talking for a bit here as we go through this whole transitionary period. But once the second phase fights, I'm going to drop off. I'm going to raise the volume. And I advise you all to just experience this fight as I did, because I found much more enjoyment doing this than just demolishing her in a couple seconds in a casual playthrough. exhilarating and wonderful. It's also cool that Grandmother Silk cries out specifically when she thinks Lace has been hurt. But this has all been done passively. The Wistfire Lantern and somewhat the Memory Crystal has done all of our work. So we have beaten Hollow Knight Silksong as a true pacifist would. But the thing about pacifism is that it doesn't end once the fight is over. Because if we want to leave the Abyss in the way the game provides us, we are going to have to break through thousands of innocent void beings. Which means, as a true pacifist, we cannot pick up Lace. This is our ending. We will remain down here in the void until something else happens, because we can't kill anything. We can't actively hurt something as a pacifist. So, we're just going to find ourselves a nice cozy little corner of void as Hornet to stay in and let these two rest for a bit. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Please subscribe if you want more interesting Silksong content. Have a good day everyone.